Hello everyone, Joshua Nivo here, and today I would like to take a minute to talk to the conservatives in the audience, which is probably going to be most of you, given who I am, about liberals. Now, I'm making this a few days after the anniversary of 9/11, and in the spirit of 9/11 and the unity that we showed on that dark and terrible day, I think we need to start a new chapter in how we approach liberals. I think this angry, divisive rhetoric where we paint each other as all this, all that, all libtards are traitors and commies, all conservatives are wingnuts, fundies, etc., this demonizing the other half of the country is not getting us anywhere. It is not helping America. It is not how we're going to achieve anything to benefit this great nation. So I think we need to change of tone. I'm not saying that we need to abandon our principles. What I am saying is that we need to rethink the way we're talking to liberals and be less angry and hysterical. Maybe we need to define ourselves less by what we hate about them and more about what we are proposing and stand for in America. After all, these liberals, they are our neighbors, our friends, and our family members. They're Americans. And most of them aren't actually that political. Most of the people who call themselves liberals don't actually know a whole heck of a lot about liberalism or conservatism, and that's okay. We don't need to let politics define every aspect of our lives, including how we engage with the people around us in our everyday lives, and how we engage with people that we know are on the other side of the political aisle. Most liberals, and conservatives for that matter, are like Sunday Christians. It doesn't mean a whole lot to them. It is not what they define their life by. They check that box on a survey, and that's about the extent that they think about it. And that's fine. That means that they're, for the most part, just other everyday Americans. Those are people that are our fellow countrymen. Those are people that we can work with. But we're not going to if we keep screaming at them. If we paint them with the same brush as the most extreme elements of their particular side. Remember, the left is a very complicated group comprising many factions and a bunch of individuals just like the right. It's not fair for them to paint us all as neo-Nazis and alt-righters simply because a few of us might be. At the same token, we probably shouldn't paint them all with the brush of Antifa and other extremist groups. Most of them are not communists in the streets burning cars. We are going to drive people into those extreme groups by lumping them all together, by showing them that we are so hysterically angry and impossible to work with that those are the only allies that they can count on. That they might not love them, but that's what they have. And to some extent, yes, they've done the same thing to us by branding us all as racists and bigots, so on and so forth. Yes, it's pushing people into the alt-right because they feel that they have no other choice. It's time to change that. With a few people on our side and a few people on theirs, we can slowly start to build a new unity. It doesn't mean we're going to get along. It doesn't mean that we're going to agree on everything. What it does mean is that we can disagree without being disagreeable. We need to show them that we recognize that they are average people just trying to make it in America, and that we are also just average, reasonable people, and that the alt-right doesn't speak for us, and that we recognize that Antifa, etc., doesn't speak for them. We cannot make any headway into a better future for America divided. Screaming at each other with this shrill, angry rhetoric that lumps people together and demonizes the other half of the country is going to tear apart the nation, and it's going to benefit nobody except our enemies. We should all be very concerned when people say that this is looking like the same attitudes that prevailed prior to the Civil War. America does not need a civil war. If we claim to love America best, then that means we need to lead by example. We need to put our best foot forward and show them that we are not all unreasonable, angry, hysterical people, and that we recognize that there are reasonable people that we can work with, if not necessarily agree on everything, even on the left. If we want to talk about making America great again, we should probably start by talking about making America whole and unified again, no matter what party we belong to. We are all Americans. Thank you for listening. God bless you, and God bless America.